All right, another day zero. How's it going, Jason? I'm doing all right. Today is January 17th. I'm going through making sort of the day zero beginning, just where I currently sit, what the goals are of this live journal process are. In this one, I'm going to be talking about guitar. This is primarily the reason that I started doing these, as well as just kind of being a cool way to spend my time, I think. This will help me. Well, this is one of many. I'm doing guitar. I'm doing a live journal for piano, hopefully. I'll be doing one for my aquarium back here, and another one for my fitness goals. A lot of what this project is about is me keeping myself honest, keeping myself on track with practicing, making sure that I am improving, and keeping myself motivated. If I'm doing this with guitar and I feel like I've been stuck for a while, I can look back at a video from 2 months prior and realize how much worse I was back then than I currently am. So that's the sort of reasoning behind it. It'll give me a lot of motivation, I hope. And who knows, maybe in 2082, 60 years from now, I'm sitting relaxing in a retirement home with a mojito or something, and looking back fondly at myself, and seeing where I came from, where I went in life, and sort of the process that went through there. This is probably going to be the one that I'm updating the most, just because, in theory, I would like to maybe not record my guitar practice every time, but at least record sort of the thought process and what I tried to glean from each one of my practices to keep me moving. My goals here, obviously, learn guitar. Right now, I'm going to try to at least pick up the guitar every day. I don't expect myself to do an hour of practice every day. That's a bit unrealistic. However, I at least want to pick it up, get some muscle memory, even if it's just fiddling around with it, doing some scales for 5 minutes. That's better than nothing. My primary goal, at least starting with day one, it'll be the next one up, is to follow the Justin Guitar courses on the internet. I'm going to start at the very basicest level. However, I've done 3 months of guitar lessons so far, so I'm not exactly a basic, but I really want to nail down these fundamentals before I start moving on. And hopefully, I won't develop any bad habits that I'll have to break later down, but I'm sure I will. As I'm going through Justin Guitar, obviously the only thing I've heard about it are reviews, and it's very good. However, if it just doesn't work for me, the next follow-up is Fender Play. That is another online lesson service, another video-based service. However, it is paid, but it has more specifics on, you can go in, choose your genre, choose specific songs that you may want to learn. It's a lot more directed that way. So we'll see if the free version cuts it for me, if it's developing the way that I want it to, and if I'm developing the way that I want to. And if not, I can do Fender Play. And in all reality, eventually I will have to go back to live in-person lessons. There's a lot more to be gleaned from an actual person. So that's currently where I sit, where I'm planning on going with this, but everything will be changing as I progress through here, I am sure. My experience with guitar. I started when I was like 12 or something, I don't remember. I played for, I think, about a year. And all I could remember is that I learned the Simpsons theme tune, and my fingers hurt a lot. So I I didn't stick with it very much. Just recently, like I mentioned, I did a few months of lessons at a place nearby, the Carmel Music Academy. Currently, I am not in that. With my other sort of musical pursuits, I have about 6 years of practice in saxophone, going through junior high and high school in band. I jumped between the alto sax and the bari sax, whether or not I was doing marching band or sit-down symphonic band accordingly. And for about a year, I did singing lessons with Julie Winter. I don't know if you remember. But right afterwards, I joined a choir at the College of DuPage, and it was going great. However, the pandemic happened, so everything quickly stopped, and unfortunately, I haven't at least pursued singing anymore, besides having a good time in the car. My current gear, just knowing me, I'm sure in the future, if I've stuck with guitar, I have more than this. But right now, I have 3 guitars. Just kind of going chronologically. My first guitar is this Johnson brand acoustic guitar. As I mentioned, when I was about 12, I did music lessons for about a year. This was the guitar that I used back then, and it's sort of been the family guitar. A lot of the time it's just been collecting dust, which is why my parents were like, yeah, take it with you if you're going to be playing guitar. It is a Dreadnought acoustic, as far as I am aware. I do believe this is like a 3/4 scale, smaller than normal size, and it needs to be professionally set up. I don't think it has been in a very long time, and there's no way you can see it on camera, but the action on this thing is crazy bad. The truss rod absolutely needs adjustments. The next one up chronologically is my unbranded Stratocaster, quote-unquote Stratocaster. Let's see. This was purchased by Catherine, Nate, and Maria for one of my birthdays a couple years ago. It's treated me well. Honestly, it's out of my 3, I think it's the easiest one for me to play. That being, I mean, the easiest for me to like pick up and just start going with it. Very beginner friendly. However, the middle pickup crapped out on me. So right now, only the bridge and the neck pickup work. Which unfortunately doesn't really give it much of a Stratocaster sound, but it does treat me well. And of course, if I'm going to be traveling with a guitar and I don't really care about what it sounds like, that's going to be the one. Since it's cheap, easy to play, and it's already kind of busted, so I don't really mind if it gets dinged up or anything. My last one, and my current favorite, is my 1990s made in Mexico standard Fender Telecaster. It is standard, so I believe that means that these pickups are ceramic as opposed to al-nickel, which is more common modern day. I hope. We'll see if I'm wrong about that, and I'm making fun of myself later down the line, but I think it sounds great. The only thing that's been modified from factory, actually, and I think this is a bonus, is the knobs down here typically are just that metallic chrome. You don't really know where the beginning and end is. I actually prefer these, even though they look a little cheaper, because they actually have numbers on them. I can see, what level I'm throwing my volume at, so I know for the future, hey, volume 6 works great. That sort of thing. That's my favorite, and not surprisingly, that's why I don't really travel around with it. In terms of amps, I have a really small amp that came with the unbranded Stratocaster. It's labeled a GA10 amplifier. It's small and terrible, so pretty quickly I had to update. I still didn't go for anything super fancy. I went with a Fender Mustang 1 modeling amp, which I have set up a few basic amp setups with, but especially for me being in an apartment, and honestly even in a home, this is more than loud enough, and because it's modeling, it gives me the options to start learning about pedals, about boards, and then figuring out what I may want in the future with an actual amp, that sort of thing. and it's very cool. Even though it's a defunct software, I do have a software on the computer where I can sort of design my own modeled combinations, and I do have a few of those in there. Just the basics. I don't really care about tone right now. I really want to learn more about how to actually play the guitar, as opposed to necessarily what it sounds like. I also have this is less of a guitar, but it is a Mitchell MU40 soprano ukulele. I don't really plan on doing much with a ukulele. However, I dressed up as Jimmy Buffett for Halloween, and instead of carrying around a full-size guitar with me, I thought, hey, I'll pick up a $40 ukulele from Guitar Center, and actually it sounds pretty great. I know a handful of chords on it. We'll see if that progresses beyond that. And right now, you are listening to me on the AKG P420 microphone condenser, and I'm currently plugged in to a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 Gen 3, which came with Ableton Lite, as far as I've heard. That is pretty great, or at least Ableton is. I plan on using Ableton Lite, or at least as far as I can. I also have Cakewalk installed on my computer in case one DAW doesn't really sit with me as well as the other, so I can kind of change around. Right now, I'm very much in the basic level of that, so more importantly, I need to learn how to play the guitar before I start getting into things like producing and potentially composing. So that's currently where I sit. Day 0 guitar. Hopefully, this is my most updated and my heaviest practiced of my live journals here. So, as I say in all these, hopefully you're doing great, and I'll see you in the next one.